Welcome aboard the Must Hysteria 2 on day 6, 14 hours. Disco Infidel is skippering at present, and I'm just enjoying the dawn of a new day. And as you can see, our sea state waves are not too bad at present, but the wind is picking up and we're getting between 22 and 28 knots of wind. With me being on board, there's sometimes a little bit of a desync issue with the jib. And today is going to be a fairly rough day of wind and action. Pretty important that one of us stays on board and helps the auto helm reef, because in these types of conditions it really is loses probably 1 to 3 knots if you're not fairly vigilant, which can mean a bit of difference, honestly. So let's see what's been happening. Well, overnight we tracked down. Actually, yesterday I was on helm and I kept us on a beam reach most of the time. Looped down past Marion Island. We caught a few boats doing this. We were doing probably half to 1 a knot faster than the boats around us, and it allowed us to move from probably 26 up to about 21st, so not a bad overnight. And then it just kept on coming south as the winds picked up this morning. Disco Infidel and Pacific have brought us down to this point here. Around us we've got X-Ray and John Dart. We've got Blackborough coming down from the south, and these guys up here who are also coming south as well, Rappacar. So while some others are still diving a little bit more south, Bionic and Defenestrator, and some are really quite south and continuing to go south, which might help them in the future. As we see the next wind pattern come through. What we've got today is this wind pattern which I mentioned a couple of days ago, and it's come down. It's basically helping us. We're on the edge of it at the moment, but as the day goes past, this is us right here. As the day goes past, we're going to find that it's going to be fairly heavy. Even heavier to the south of us, actually. So these guys might have an advantage there. And if we move forward a couple of days, these guys to the south might even be able to get into this next dark purple patch that's coming through, and I'm pretty sure that they will. What I'm hoping to do is to keep in this yellow band, hopefully not get into this blue band. The boats just don't move as fast as the window does in this game, so it's going to be hard for us to keep up, but we'll try to mitigate it as much as possible. So that's the next 2 days running forward. Probably worth diving a little bit south, but as you can see, it seems to taper off a little bit, so I'm not sure it's really worth it. Anyway, back to the boat, and as I was saying, pretty important that we're reefing and unreefing during the bad and good wind conditions that will happen during the day. This boat doesn't really have the balance that it should have, and it would be nice if the devs looked into it sometime, just gave it a little bit more of an improvement, as I've been talking about over the last 2 legs. But that's the morning report and a little bit of an outlook. I'll probably head into QTVLM sometime in the future as we get a little bit closer to Melbourne. This leg so far has been pretty much just a drag race, not that much tactical difference, and that comes from also the boat not. I mentioned this during the Sydney Hobart. And Slow-Mo and I sort of have been talking about it as well. that the speed differentials between a jib, a beam, you know, a Kodo and a Jenica, it seems to be like a sine wave, so you're not really, there's not a lot of tactical choices you can make. And if there was a different sail plan, you know, you could do different things. Anyway, it's not like I'm bored with the leg or anything like that. It's just long. It keeps on going on and on in this Southern Ocean. I'll probably be much more interested in heading up to Hong Kong and then back from Hong Kong to New Zealand. So with that said, guys, if you're online, enjoy your reefing today. If you're not, you're probably going to lose out maybe 1 to 2 knots, 1.5 knots, maybe 2 knots of not being able to do that, just because the auto helm doesn't do it as well as you can. And okay, I've just taken over the helm, and as you can see, we're on a jib, even though our TWA is good enough for a Kodo. We're fully reefed at the moment, and we're getting up to around about 18 knots, which is not too bad. If it goes a little bit higher than this, I'll probably try a Kodo and move between reefings and see whether I can change the head sail to give me a little bit of advantage with that. Okay, and as you can see, as the wind drops even more, I need to take the reef out again. Make sure that I keep the jib fairly tight, keep us in the 16s to 17s. And as the speed heads up again, and heads up again, you can see that the reefing is quite constant, getting up into 18 knots there for a second. And during the day, this is going to continue on ad nauseum. So it's not much fun, honestly. Dropped some speed there, almost got into 19s there for a second. So it's really a game of looking at the numbers, which is not what happens obviously in a real boat. You're not constantly doing this. I mean, there's fine adjustments that are made, but just reefing and unreefing like this is a little bit unrealistic. Anyway, let's move up to the top of the range and see how that goes. So that's basically my my reefing. I could try it with the code and do it a different way, and I might do that off camera, see if it's better. But that's it from the deck of the Master Hysteria.